Hey everybody, long time no see. Can y'all hear me? All right, give me 1 second, you guys. Hold on. Y'all got just bear with me for a second. Jazz, you got something I can sit this on? Hello everyone. Hey, how y'all doing? Something I can sit this up on, like a box. I'm looking a mess. Sorry, y'all look a mess. Let me get to my little notes. I just need to set this up. I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, you can cut that light on right here. My apologies. Okay. Now y'all can see me. How is everybody doing? I know I told y'all I wasn't going to go to trial, but I decided, listen, I'm in Chicago. I've been here for a minute. Might as well just pop up and see what's going on today. Hey, everyone coming in. I'm going to give it like 2 more minutes because I'm waiting on someone else to join me. Hold on. Yes. Hold on.
Hey, girl.
Hey, I can hear you.
What do you do? Did you go to trial today?
I did. I was just telling them I said I wasn't going to go, but since I was here, I said, let me go up there and, at least the opening statements.
Okay.
I'm just waiting to get a few more people. It was good, though, Tanya. It was really good.
I heard Jennifer did her thing.
What's Daryl McDavid's attorney? He did good too. I'm blessed. Thank you. How y'all doing? Start in 2 minutes at 8:15 exactly. I took the best notes that I could take. They detailed, but not as detailed as from New York, as like New York, you guys. Just simply because this today for me was a little bit unexpected. So, like I said, I wasn't going to the trial, so I didn't really bring nothing to really write with. So my notes, the notebook is like really small, but let me see. I got about, yeah, I can say it's a lot of pages. It's probably over, I want to say about at least 30 pages.
Were you there the whole time?
Today?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there. Did I miss anything? Because we took a couple of breaks. No, I was there. They actually started late this morning. I think they started late because a juror, maybe the train, was late or something.
Someone got sick too, right?
Oh, I don't.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
I think so. I think I heard from the Chicago reporter guy that
Okay.
someone was sick or they had to bring in an alternate.
Oh, see, I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
So they
How was Rob? How did he look?
um Rob was dressed in a dark blue suit. Um, he always looked the same. You know, he looked straight ahead. He's very respectful. He don't really look around too much. He talked. Well, him and Jennifer, they talked a couple of times um, throughout the throughout the day. But it's always pretty much just the same. He's straight faced, looks forward. Um, has his notepad and etc. But I mean, he looked good. He looks good to me. He still. I just seen him at sentencing too. So I mean, he looked good. Anybody else got a question before I start? I'm gonna go ahead and start. No. Okay, so this morning, we got started about 10:35. Is when the judge came in, and he started out by giving a brief description of what the opening statements was, and that was more so that the jury have an understanding of what the government and what the defense was going to be telling to them. So obviously, the government is it's on them to go first with everything because they have to prove, the accusations or the charges. So they're gonna go first. Um, they started with, and I'm summing some of this up, you guys. They started with saying the defendant R. Kelly had sex with multiple children. He made videos of himself. Daryl McDavid and Milton Brown knew about this. They helped to cover it up. They said in the 90s, Kelly became a superstar. He won 12 Grammys. Daryl McDavid and Milton Brown helped manage Kelly's career. They referred to them as like a trio, saying that they was extremely close. Um, Daryl McDavid acted as his accountant and his manager. Milton Brown was the assistant. Um, they said Kelly had a dark hidden side to him that he didn't allow the world to see from 96 to 2001. He repeatedly had sex with 14 and 16-year-old girls, multiple girls. Um, I'm sorry. He repeatedly had sex with 14, 15, and 16-year-old girls. And in some of these situations, they describes him having sex with either one underage girl or multiple girls, or sometimes multiple minors with an adult. Thank you, Lola. Um, they said that it's a crime to record yourself having sex with minors. And then they went on again to specify that in one video you'll see one girl, in another video you'll see two underage girls, and in another video you will see an adult woman with the underage girl. They said Kelly kept these tapes close to him because he knew if the world would find out, it would ruin his career. The three, Daryl McDavid and Milton Brown, helped to keep these a secret in order to keep their careers. Um, they said that this trial is going to be about his dark side only, and it includes 5 minors that he had sex with. At the end of the case, you will have the evidence that you need to convict all three beyond a reasonable doubt. The government then goes into um, the alleged victims. You have Jane, which is victim number one. They gave a brief description. We all know who Jane is. She grew up in Oak Park. She was in a singing group. She met Rob around the time she was 12, 13 years old. While when she was 13, she asked Rob to be her godfather. Her aunt was Sparkle. Sparkle agreed that it was a good idea for Robert to be her godfather. They said that Robert used that as he used that being her godfather as a cover for him to be able to spend time with her. He would have her babysit over his house at weekends. He would have conversations over the phone, spend quality time with her at studios. They said Kelly took her virginity. He taught her how to please him during sex. Um, and I didn't write it all down, but they pretty much just named off the things that he basically they was trying to show a pattern for grooming. I didn't write all of that down. They just pretty much said that he basically taught her what it took to please him. Um, they say in one of the videos that will be shown to the court, you will see Kelly referencing Jane's body parts by her age and also asking her to reference her body parts by her age. They said that there are 4 different scenes of Jane. Video 4 shows Lisa and Jane together. Um, they said in one of the videos, which is video 1, you will see Kelly telling her what to say, what to do, setting up the camera, urinating on her. And in video 2, Kelly tells her to talk to him about being 14 while he gave her oral sex. Kelly refers to Jane's butt as a 14-year-old ass in videos 2 and 3. They say you will also hear from Jane. You will also hear from Jane that they had sex multiple times in his home, recording studios, buses, hotels, and other places. In December 2000, police investigated their sexual relationship. Jane lied. Um, I was told Brittany, what's Sparkle's last? Tanya, what's Sparkle last name? Edwards, right? I was told Brittany Edwards
It's the cousin?
was the cousin, but in the opening remarks for the government, they said that she's a friend to Jane, and Pinky is another friend to Jane.
So she's another Jane Doe?
No,
Pinky?
so Jane is only that one Jane.
Oh,
Pinky and Brittany is used by first names.
oh, okay.
Um,
Are there witnesses? Are they
they're
testifying?
testifying. So these, so Jane, Pinky, and Brittany are 3 of the 5 minors that he's been charged with.
Mm.
I stopped because I thought Brittany was the cousin, but the prosecutor, we want to go by what they say, she's a friend.
I
So,
thought Brittany Edwards was like their first cousin or something.
right, that's what I'm saying. But if you want to go by what they said in court today, and it would be a friend because that's what he said, she was a friend. They're going to talk about how they had threesomes, how he taught her. Jane was afraid to tell him that she didn't want to have threesomes. Um, then they also going to talk about Tracy and Nia. Those are the next 2 minors that he's being charged with. Tracy Sampson. I'm sure you guys remember her story.
Hmm.
She met Rob. She was an intern at a radio station or something, right?
I think so. She's the one that did the interview with the news station.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's gonna get real interesting. Um, so just keep listening. Tracy was 16. Nia was 15. Um, they're going to testify that they were inexperienced and they were starstruck. They were Jane is going to testify that she was isolated and she was kept from others and she was told to lie. In 2001, they learned that the video had leaked to the public. Jane learned that her aunt had seen the video, but they hadn't discussed it with her. So in 2002, they met with family. They're saying Daryl McDavid and Rob had met with the family to discuss the video. And that is at the time, that is when Rob had told them, "You're either with me or you're against me. And if you're not with me, I don't know what could possibly happen to you." So Daryl McDavid, Milton Brown, told them, advised them to leave Chicago. They sent them out of the country. Um, the mother's going to testify that she was afraid for their lives. Jane was afraid that Kelly would get into trouble, and she told her parents that she was suicidal while they were out of the country, and that they would lose her if they didn't help Kelly. While they were out of the country, Jane got a tattoo of Robert's name with a heart around it. Let me say that again.
She got a tattoo.
That's why I said, let me say that again and make sure y'all caught that.
Mm.
We're out of the country. She got a tattoo of Robert's name inside of a heart. Um, they also agreed, the family agreed while they were out of the country, that they will conceal the sex. When they got back to Chicago, Brown took her to get it covered up. Robert told her that she had to get that tattoo covered up. They did not take her to a tattoo shop. They took her to a house. David discussed with to Jane to get rid of the necklace that was in the picture on her passport, simply because that same necklace was the necklace that was in the video of the girl being urinated
Wow.
on. They were then instructed to lie under oath, deny that it was her entirely in the video. After they arrived back, the parents lost their jobs. So he began to play the guitar more for Robert to support the family. That was his only means of income. Now, you guys keep in mind, I'm reading you the government's opening statements. So this is what they're telling the jury about what the jury is going to hear down the line, what the testimony and stuff is going to be about, and what it's going to describe. So in 2002, Kelly was indicted. Videos 2, 3, and 4 were still a problem for Kelly. In 2001, another girlfriend was left alone with the videos, Lisa. They gave a brief description of Lisa. Video 4 shows Lisa and Jane. Lisa was 18 years old when she met Robert.
That's
Kelly,
17.
yeah, exactly. We've all heard her say that she was 17 years old. If we go by what the government said today in their opening statements, they say that Lisa was 18 years old when she met Robert. She said Kelly told Lisa that Jane was 16 years old when she was introduced to her, when in actuality she was only 14 years old. Lisa didn't want Kelly to have the video, which will be video 4. And let me say this too, because all this time I honestly thought, you guys, that they had actual 1 video, 2 video, 3, tapes. It's not tapes. It might be one cassette with 4 different parts, if that makes sense.
So it's one cassette that they recorded and put
Correct.
on one
Like, it's different. Like, you got to sing
scenes.
scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, but it's different. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of you need to know that, because when I finish reading this, when it goes to like how stuff has been edited or removed, then you'll understand it. You'll understand it a little bit better, because it's not different tapes. There's 4 different parts on one cassette.
4 scenes on one.
4 scenes on one cassette.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see. She didn't want Kelly to have the video, so she kept video 4, which also contains 2 and 3. She didn't think she could keep. This is Lisa. She didn't think she could keep the video in her possession because she at the time she was staying with Robert, different hotels or whatever. When she asked if she could go back to the ATL, Atlanta, Kelly asked her to stay with him and he would pay her for staying there. So she did. Lisa said that there were rules and she had to call him daddy. If she didn't listen, she got abused. Sometimes she wasn't allowed to eat. She ended up mailing the video back to Kansas City to Keith Morrell. Um, for a number of years, neither of the three were confronted. Neither of the three confronted Lisa about the tape, even though they knew that that tape was missing. In 2001, Kelly reached out to Chuck Freeman. He was from Kansas City. Charles, I'm sorry, Chuck is, I think his real name is Charles Freeman, but they call him Chuck. He's from Kansas City, and he's also acquainted with Lisa Van Allen. Um, Freeman supposedly met with all three. They talked to him because they said that Lisa was someone that Freeman knew and that could possibly get the tape back from him. They offered him a large amount of money to get it back, $140K, by August the 23rd, 2001, which was in 2 days from that date that they spoke. Kelly promised him actually $1 million to get the tape back. Freeman turned the tape into McDavid and Brown once he got it back from Lisa. He then wanted his money. He met with Kelly and Brown. They played the tape showing him that the tape only contained videos 2 and 3. Video 4 was missing. So they wanted to know where video 4 was. They found out Keith had videos 2, 3, and 4. So apparently Keith had all the videos and he edited them. So when he gave them copies, allegedly, he altered them. The tapes are tampered with.
Yeah. So they got the tapes and just divided it up the way they wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they're gonna keep saying that tape 4 Lisa was on it and she didn't want to be seen, and that's why they kept it away from the public, which is not proven to be. Okay, so they found out Keith had videos 2, 3, and 4. So at that time, Freeman had only been paid $65K. Brown eventually paid him another 10 to 20,000 cash in 2008 to keep quiet about videos 2 and 3 during that trial. The next day, David paid him $260K in cash to again keep quiet about the tape. Lisa had found out Keith Morrell was actually shopping the tape around. She didn't want the tape. She didn't want video 4 out. So that's when she got back in touch with Robert. He asked her to come to Chicago to discuss. When she got there, he asked her to strip down and to get in the jacuzzi before he would talk to her about it. He then told her he would give her $250,000 to split to bring the tapes back and to work with McDavid. McDavid ended up meeting with Lisa and Keith when they came in 2007. Brown said, okay, so when they came to the house, they brought the tape. When they played the tape, I guess it had 1, 2, 3, and 4 on that tape. So Brown said Keith had brought the golden egg. After David watched it, he gave Keith a hug and thanked him. They then met Jane. Okay, so then he's saying David McDavid and Brown had met Jane in real life. So they're saying as they're watching that tape, they knew who the girl was because they had previously met her in real life. So they knew. Um, McDavid paid Keith $100,000 and only gave Lisa $80,000 because he told her it was all her fault that he even has to pay Keith, and he said he should have done like he thought and had her murked. Um, so they had gotten videos 2, 3, and 4 back and had paid for silence. Jane would testify Kelly had kept her hidden back in 2008 to prevent her from testifying against him. Um, and they talked a little bit more about them trying to cover up about Milton Brown and McDavid trying to cover up the videos for Rob.
So while she was hidden, what was her mom and dad?
Yeah, they didn't talk about that.
Mm,
But you already know when the defense come up, they're gonna get on that.
yeah.
So they said, so what this trial will be about, it's not going to be about it's this not complicated on the issues. You're going to hear from the witnesses, which will make the trial long. McDavid and Brown, they just said they're not being tried for the actual sex acts. Minor victims, they said that when you see the minor victims, they are adults now, but they were minors then. So don't get caught off guard. I'm speaking to you as if I'm the government giving their opening statement for anybody that's just coming in. So don't get caught off guard. Jane was 13 years old. She's 37 years old now. You won't see video 4 in this trial because they managed to get video 4 back and cover it up. But witnesses will testify about video 4. So they're charging Rob with
They're charging him with video for them.
him with video 4 of being with a minor, but they don't even have video 4.
Mm.
That's crazy right there.
Throw the whole case away.
So they talked about the charges in the case. There's 13 counts in this indictment. Counts 1 through 4, they relate to the videos, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Counts 5 is conspiracy to obstruct justice and conceal the video. That's for Kelly and McDavid. Count 6 is all three conspired to receive child pornography. Count 7 and 8 is for Kelly and McDavid. Um, they actually received the child pornography. Count 7 relates to videos 2 and 3, and count 8 relates to video 4. Count 9 is involving the enticement and coercement to Jane to engage in sexual acts. That's Kelly. Count 10, same thing, but it relates to minor 2, Nia. Count 11 relates to minor 3, Tracy. Counts 4 relates to minor 4, Pinky. And count 13 relates to minor 5, Brittany. So the same thing, it's just about coercing and enticing them to engage in sexual acts as minors. They said they're going to prove their case with the videos and the testimony from the accusers and witnesses, and they also going to play snippets of videos. They will not play the entire videos, but they do have the full videos, is what they say. But they don't have video 4, but they do have the videos. Make it make sense. Anyway, but won't play the videos. They're just going to do the snippets. And then they said at the end of the trial that they must come back with a guilty verdict for all three on all 13. Well, for all three, and for Robert on all 13 counts. So that was the end of the government's opening statements. Anybody got any questions? Hi. Hi, Frankie. Somebody asked a question up here about the videos. Yeah, it's supposed to be thrown out just like digital evidence was thrown out in 2000. Yeah. Okay. So then that lasted till about 11:25. Then that's when Banjin came and she took over. She introduces herself, her team, and she introduced her client to the jury. Rob didn't look up. He still kept looking straight ahead. She thanked them for their services and their sacrifices that they make. She said, while the government tries to prove their narrative, she said this will be a challenging case because some of you are coming in with a blank slate, meaning that some of them have, most of them there have, well, she said some of them have knowledge of her client. She said normally that doesn't happen because when you're called to be on a jury duty, you come in and you have no knowledge of who the defendant is, his lifestyle, anything like that. But with her client, it's different. She said Kelly doesn't get that chance because he's coming in with a jury that already has public info about who he is. She said you even heard them talk about all the ugly characterizations that they had made of him. She said, but you said that you could be fair, and you will be held to that. The Constitution says you have to be fair. He's entitled to a non-biased jury. You said you could do it, and we commend you for that. We only ask that you consider the evidence and every witness unclouded, regardless of what you've heard about them, and consider them separate. Consider each issue separate, meaning, right there, what she meant was, don't say, oh, well, he did this, so he must be guilty of that one too. Oh, he must have did it all. Don't do that. Look at each and every situation in its entirety, and then decide from there. Um, she says that you have to make sure the government has met the burden of proof. If not, she said we do expect a not guilty verdict. They want you to believe that he's a serial predator. She said it's true, he isn't perfect, and that he has stumbled along the way. That's what life's all about. We've all made mistakes. We've all stumbled and lost our way. He went from singing in the subway. He was a high school dropout. He has literacy issues. He's relied on a lot of people for support and for guidance. She said David was his manager. Kelly relied on him for a lot of his business management. She said, I bring this up not as a defense, but so you can see how he relied on other people. Charges date back 25 years. Charges he faced and was acquitted of. No government who profess to care about alleged victims wait 2 decades to prosecute their abuser. She said, you guys are technicians in this, and you're here to listen to the evidence. Your oath is to look at each piece of evidence and determine is he guilty of what the government says. Evidence appears to be 3 video clips, yet they charged him with 4. And that fourth tape doesn't even exist. It never existed. These videos are explicit. They will force you to watch them. You and you won't even, I'm sorry, yeah, watch them, even though you may not want to. At that part, the judge asked for a sidebar. She said, we're not disputing that. When they came back, she said, we're not disputing that it is sexually explicit, but the tapes have no value. We have someone that will tell you that they're not authenticated. Jane will take the oath and say that she was 14, engaged in sexual behavior, but we will have to see, because for 22 years she denied it. Before that, before there was even an investigation, she denied it. Um, and also for 22 years, her parents denied it. They took oaths and they still denied it. And she said, now the government will tell you Kelly had this grip on this family for over 20 years to keep them from talking. Well, you will have to decide if that makes sense to you. No secret. Kelly did have a relationship with the family. He made 4 albums where the father worked on them with him. Matter of fact, he had a relationship with that family up until the day of his arrest. He came to parties, he went to social events. He had a relationship with the entire family. Yes, he did assist with money, but long after the trial, when he no longer feared prosecution, he still helped them out financially. Um, so you have to ask, why would she come forward now? She came forward because she feared prosecution herself. The government promised her immunity and to never be prosecuted, and Jane's mother also got immunity. Why did they need these deals? Well, we have to wait and hear from them. We can say though, one of them because they lied under oath. She says no, the government named individuals that they had video of for 20 years, and only in 2019 did these videos emerge. Charles Freeman is an extortionist. He spent many years extorting Robert. He was also he was also represented by a criminal attorney, Mr. Alvinati, who was they also granted Mr. Freeman immunity. They granted him immunity to come in and say all of these things about Kelly, and we won't charge you with anything you've done for over the last 20 years. Lisa will also testify. You're not being asked you're not being asked in here whether Robert's a good person or not. In here you have Lisa, Charles, and Keith, all criminals. They extorted Kelly, and yet they've been given immunity. Judge interrupts, objects, inaudible what he was saying, and then he his objection. Overrules his objection. I'm sorry.
How do you object an opening statement?
Yeah, they were doing that a lot in the opening statement. You can object if I don't know what the reason. I couldn't understand what his reason was for that, so that's why I put inaudible, and then he overruled it, and we all kind of chuckled at that, and she proceeded. So it said Lisa took the tapes as a shakedown to shake Robert down. If you didn't, and if she didn't, then where's the tape? Why would you send it to someone else? Meaning, why would she take that tape and send it to someone in Kansas City if she wasn't trying to shake him down or extort him for some money? They made copies of the tapes. She says they are the actual sexual predators. We don't know what tapes they took. None of them, because none of these people are worth a shred of credibility. In order to find Kelly guilty based off of plea deals they made, she said you would have to find Kelly guilty based off of plea deals that they made to forgive their criminal acts. Um, and then she says, talk about the government charges that they added. They added Nia, Tracy, Pinky, and Brittany. She said you won't see any of them in any video. You will only hear testimony about them. You would have to decide if you want to believe that testimony. Tracy will say she was 16, but yet she sued him a few years ago. And when she sued him, she said that she was actually 17. In the state of Illinois, the age of consent is 17. She moved her age back just for this case.
Wow.
Um, she told investigators in a pic that they showed her that she was a grown woman in a still video, but in actuality she lied and eventually admitted that that wasn't even her in that picture that they showed her. Pinky and Brittany had tried to extort Robert for $35,000. They told him that they would say that they said he did that to them if he didn't pay. They were also extortionists as well, but they were also of age. They were not minors. Um,
They were not minors?
were not minors, and they tried to extort him for $35,000.
No.
It's gonna get really good, y'all. Cause hold on, the government laid out what they think the case will be about, and they're hoping you don't be the technicians that you are and do your job. They want you to think, oh well, he did these things, so he must have done everything else. You can't do that. They have to meet the burden of proof by each charge. Kelly could also be a victim of extortionists in this because they are strong motivators in here, referring to the witnesses. These witnesses are liars, they're thieves, extortionists, and the parents themselves are the true sex traffickers. And
Damn.
she said the parents themselves are the true sex traffickers, and then she ended her opening statement there. Um, During the time the prosecution stopped and the government asked the judge to remind the people in the gallery to be quiet. I guess there was some snickering or something. And they also said that Bonjean had said something about the jury can go on social media, and so the government wanted the judge to remind the jury not to go on social media. The judge said he never heard Bonjean say that, and he did speak to the people in the gallery to just make sure that they're not speaking out loud or abrupt in the courtroom or anything like that, or they'll be asked to leave. Um, so Daryl McDavid's attorney is up next. So he starts off by giving a brief description of this power team that Rob had back for the 2008 trial. He says 97 to 08, Gerald Jerry Magolis. He was the one. I just summed it up because he gave like their entire history and who they worked with and what they worked on. I didn't do all of that. He just said he was one of the best attorneys in Illinois. Edward Jensen was also one of the best attorneys in Illinois. 97 to 08, John Toohey was a partner at the Mayor Brown law firm. He was excellent at what he did. In 97 to 98, the PI, sorry, I didn't get his name, Jack. He was the best at what he did. He also did work for presidents. He said, why did I begin this way? He said, because these are people that McDavid hired to defend Robert. Evidence will prove that these men were the only ones McDavid made contracts or settlements with. It was these men who said who needed to be paid and who needed what. He followed their instructions. He did so because, as Rob's manager, that was his job. Um, he said they did their job with excellence, and so did McDavid. Doing your job for a superstar is not a crime. Doing your job, period, is not a crime. He listened to these professionals who were the best at what they do as to the defendant's Rob in his career and what to do with his career. They worked with him to do their job. He should not be held criminally responsible for acts Robert didn't tell him the truth about, or them the truth about. McDavid had no reason to doubt them. Just like them, he was doing his job. Do you think he would risk his job to obtain child pornography on an R&B star? And this is quoting, I'm quoting this word for word. Do you think he would risk his job to obtain child pornography on an R&B star who was insignificant as compared to his other clients? They wouldn't do that. Go ahead.
Rob was insignificant? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
oh.
To on an R&B star who was insignificant as compared to their other clients. They wouldn't do that. They want to say that if he's guilty, so is McDavid, and that's not true. The government will fail to meet their burden of proof to prove he's guilty. From 2002 to 2008, the lawyers have a duty to rely on their clients and what their clients tell them. So McDavid only knew what Kelly told him. You will learn Kelly, the minor girl, parents all denied the sexual acts. They denied it to the PI and to the lawyers. They denied it to everyone. As Rob's business manager, he shouldn't be criticized for believing what they said and believing the tapes weren't true. You will hear and see what McDavid seen and heard, and you will see why he had no reason to believe them. David will take the stand. McDavid. I keep saying David, sorry. McDavid will take the stand. What matters is his intent and his knowledge. What matters is what he believed back in 2002. What you will see is that the tape he seen in 2002 was illegitimate, and from what everyone was saying, led him to believe that it wasn't her on the tapes. It said that he's being charged with trying to manipulate the evidence that he believed, but he believed them, so he can't be guilty. So how could he manipulate any evidence if he's never seen the tapes? Then he gives a breakdown on what we already heard about the tapes. Says Kelly told McDavid that this was all because of this disgruntled Sparkle. There were some other words, but pretty much broke down to disgruntled Sparkle, and because he and because McDavid knew Sparkle and how she was, he believed Rob when he said that basically Sparkle was just doing this out of spite. She started all of this. So that's when McDavid called a lawyer. The lawyer said you can't just take Kelly's word. They hired someone to question Jane and her family, and they all denied to them. And the parents even said that Sparkle was just starting rumors. The attorney gave the report to McDavid, which they also say that they have, the original report that was taken from them. And so that made David believe Kelly. Then the rumors began about the tape circulating with Drea and a wife of a professional athlete and someone else on the tape. David called the attorney again. He said these kind of tapes could ruin his career. They had to get on top of it. Kelly told David Freeman, told David and Charles Freeman, hold on. I'm sorry. Kelly told David Freeman called wanted money for the tapes. They wanted the tapes so they could see what was actually on them because they didn't know. He goes on about Freeman being a criminal, a liar, and extortionist. He pretty much just follows suit on what Jennifer was saying. Jake, who was the PI, was supposed to have met Freeman in Kansas City to get the tapes. Those tapes were addressed to the law firm, not McDavid. Only one person says McDavid met him and he received the tape, but he's a liar. And he's lied after lie after lie. You can't trust him. The evidence in the case will show you exactly what happened. There will be a call log that shows that Freeman actually talked to McDavid on the phone, not face to face. Jake, the PI, was the actual person that got the tape and sent it to the lawyer. They said it was of such poor quality they couldn't tell who was on the tapes. You will then meet a woman that Demetrius Smith offered to pay money to lie on R. Kelly. The money that he offered to pay.
So the woman is going to testify?
Yes. So there's going to be a woman that's going to testify, and she's going to say that Demetrius Smith offered her money to lie on R. Kelly. The money that he was going to pay this young lady with came from Barry Hankerson.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa. She actually wore a wire saying that she was basically being solicited to make false accusations on Rob. The wire was heard by the attorneys and McDavid. At
Do
this point,
do they have the wire?
they didn't say they had the wire, but they do have the reports and things like that. So I'm not sure if they actually have that wire.
Mhm.
But that's just so y'all know, that's one of the witnesses
Defense is calling.
for the defense.
Mhm.
Um, at that time, the wire was heard by the attorneys and by David McDavid, and McDavid knew that at this point, people were being sought out by Barry Hankerson to basically lie on R. Kelly, and it was starting to happen more and more. Barry had also called them and said that he had a tape of Rob and his goddaughter coming out, and it's going to ruin Rob. But when McDavid heard him, he knew what he was talking about when he heard what he said the tape was. But he didn't worry about it because they pretty much already, said that that wasn't them on the tape. So the tape basically, they're saying, was probably it started with Barry Hankerson, and I think we pretty much everybody's been kind of saying all this from the beginning. It started with Barry Hankerson.
Barry Hankerson is the one that put the tape out there, sent it to the people and everything to
All right. And I don't know if you guys were on my live when I read Robert's book when he talked about the incident the day at the studio when he actually fired
Mhm.
Hankerson, and Barry Hankerson told him he was gonna get him,
Yeah.
that he was gonna ruin his life. So now you have this. Um, that same day, they said the same day that Barry Hankerson had called Daryl McDavid and said that he was basically going to ruin Robert's career, they got a call from the Sun-Times saying that they had a tape and they wanted them to come down and see it. Once they got to the Sun-Times, the lawyers, they were denied access to look at the tape. McDavid is going to show you that Barry Hankerson was actually paying people to spread that lie about the tape.
Oh God.
Um, and they believe that it was part of a setup to take Robert down because that tape was released on the biggest day of his life while he was performing at the Olympics. So they don't feel that it was a coincidence that that happened on that same day. Um, McDavid thought Robert was being set up, so he then hired Jensen. Jensen said the tape was a fake, and I don't know what I put there. Basically, fake. They did a frame by frame analysis of Robert on that tape, and they will see. They said that you will see that there's a mole on his back. That in different shots, the mole disappears, or it's moved. It's not in the same spots.
That was the same thing in 2008.
Right. Hold on. Sorry. Hold on, y'all. Okay, I'm so sorry. Um. Okay, so they talked about the mole and how it disappeared, and also you will still have, and then also they still have the minor saying that it's not her. So McDavid had no reason to believe that it was true. Lisa will testify that she brought the video to Daryl McDavid and watched it with him, but she's lied over and over again. She was also granted immunity for blackmail. Evidence of her lies will be shown on polygraphs test ordered by Ed Jensen, not McDavid. The third party was the third party. So you remember how they were saying the government said that the third party in the video was Lisa with another minor. Um, they say the third party was not a minor in the fourth video. It was actually Robert's wife. That
Get the
was with Lisa.
I heard
Yeah.
OMG.
So it was actually Drea on that tape, y'all.
What the fuck? He
Robert was
didn't want nobody to know it was his
they were
wife.
trying to get that video back because he did not want his wife exposed like that.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This
Yeah.
is so sad.
So,
Wow.
they said all of these were founded by professional investigations and was recorded.
And they
Robert
have the
wanted this
proof.
back because he wanted to protect his wife. They have the proof of that, and it was
Wow.
court. I'm gonna also tell y'all that I heard today that they asked for a mistrial, but it wasn't granted.
Yeah, I read that.
And that today again, and that's because of that. That's explosive.
Someone says, please repeat that one more time. One more time.
Okay, so the fourth video that the government that they don't have or that's missing, and that Lisa's going to testify that she was in with that minor. It was actually Drea that she was in the video having a threesome with. So it was Robert, Drea, and Lisa. It was not the minor. So her whole story,
Oh, why she around here dancing and shaking her ass? She been lying the whole time, and he was trying to protect her.
yeah, he was trying to
Wow.
her. And this is coming from Daryl McDavid's attorneys. This is not even Jennifer.
And he's also saying that they have a report from the investigators about who it.
All founded from that PI
Wow.
lawyers back then. They said that all of this was investigated, was founded by professional investigations and recorded. Robert wanted the tapes back because he wanted to protect his wife, word for word. Um, they said, and based on all of that evidence that they used, that was brought into the trial in 2008. That's why he was found not guilty. So let me see. Okay. So he goes on to say, eventually there was a falling out with Robert and McDavid. McDavid thought that he was owed money for doing his job with Robert, and there was a lawsuit that had followed. You will never hear or see horrible things, but you will hear and see horrible things, but you have to ask, how much did McDavid know about? None. Um, I don't know what this word is I wrote. I'm sorry. It said, I'm sorry. It said the entire music industry during this trial believed in Robert. Everyone believed in Robert's innocence. Um, the charges weren't true. They all did, and they all did an excellent job in 2008. Therefore, um, he said if they lied, meaning Robert and Jane, back then, it is not the fault of McDavid. He just did his job. This case will end with a fundamental thought. If these professionals said that it wasn't true, do you believe McDavid would risk his life and career to defend someone they thought was a pedophile? And then after he finished that, we took our lunch until 2. Brown, and then when we came back, Milton Brown's attorney gave her opening remarks. I didn't really, because she's pretty much said the same thing that Daryl McDavid's attorney said. However, I will say the only difference was she put the entire blame on Rob. Um, she said that Milton had no knowledge of the secrets Kelly kept from them. There was a sidebar after that, but she really just pretty much said he had no. Oh, I didn't write this down, but I do remember her saying that. She said because Kelly kept his camp really strict. They had to follow rules. They weren't allowed. She did stress they weren't allowed to go into certain rooms. Doors were locked. They couldn't just walk through the houses and etc. and etc. She tried to make it seem like Milton Brown just walked around with his head down all day long and just did what he was asked to do and asked no questions. That's pretty much what her opening statement was, and said that you can't find him guilty because he was just doing his job, and he didn't ask no questions about what Robert was doing on the other side. So she put the blame all, but again, if you have to find one guilty, you have to find them all. Um, so then the government called their first witness, who was Dr. Daryl Turner. He was a clinical psychologist. He works in forensics and he deals with sexual offenses. They asked him about his education and his experience, and we all know that took probably an hour. That they have to do that in order to get that witness to be qualified as an expert. So after he gives all of his information, then the judge says that he can be admitted as an expert into the trial. They asked him if he reviewed any evidence. He says no. Have you been informed of the names and charges in this case? No, no names or reporting was reviewed in this case. He's here to testify about grooming and the impact that it has on the victims. I'm gonna say this: Bonjean did a damn good job when it came to cross-examining the experts, because sometimes you get the experts on there and it'd be really boring. But she really, really, she got in his butt, and basically what I took from her cross examination, I'm gonna get into it, but what I took from it was you can't really rely on what he says and what his definitions is, because he himself has contradicted himself. So she went back and did the history on this particular expert, and he just contradicted himself. For example, he gave us what he felt grooming meant. I don't think I wrote that down. My apologies. But he gave his definition of what grooming meant. Jennifer turned around and showed him that he had published a report back in 2012 where he gave a total different definition of what he thought grooming meant. And his response was, well, over the years, you learn more and more about certain things, so you change the definition up.
Oh, okay.
Right. It sounds like how they did how they changed up the definition for, what was it? Enterprise, or what was it in New York? Last minute.
They were changing for, I think, the Rico, like,
Yeah, they changed the definitions up. So he says he's never met R. Kelly. Correct. He's never met any of the witnesses. Um he's never examined Kelly or the witnesses. He's never watched the docuseries. I was smelling them like, hold on. He said he has no idea about the charges, or no idea even if Robert even did any of these. He has no idea. He provided articles to the government that kind of shows what his expertise is, and it describes sexual offenders in that article. Um, but then when the article that he gave, Jennifer came back and said, but in this article, you said that sexual offenders basically groom their victims. But in this article, it says that sexual offenders are not groomers. Is that correct? And he had to agree that yes, in this article that they brought in, it says opposite of what he's on the stand saying. So then they talked a little bit more about his education, his licensing, and his training. He said he's never treated child victims of sexual abuse. He works more so with adult victims. He's charging the government $250 an hour to testify. And so far, they've already taken, and that's not for today, but they've already used 2 hours. So it'd be 2 hours plus whatever time he spent on the stand today. Bonjean points out that isn't there difficulties when defining grooming. She shows him articles that support that. He says there's no real definition to it, or she says there's no real definition to it. He says everyone would agree with what I'm saying. And she point. That's when, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead of myself earlier, but this is when she points out that in 2012 he didn't even agree with what he's saying today on the stand. He testified. He said that he testified in 2012 in a federal court and basically said that grooming was a lot less than what he says it is today. Um, he says in 2012 he was just testifying as an intern, and he said that they was just like, oh, let's just get him on the stand, and just felt like just put him on the stand and give him a chance. And so Bonjean points out, so hold on, there was a defendant fighting for his life, and they just put you as a expert witness when you were an intern, just to be putting you on the stand at that time, which made a lot of sense. It just kind of opened your eyes to say, like, okay, they playing with people's lives. This man was an intern, and he's up there testifying as if he had so much knowledge, and he didn't. So the prosecution objected. The judge overruled. The guy answered, and he agreed with Bonjean. Then he testified. He testified earlier when the government was questioning him that there was no adolescent disclosure, meaning he said, I think the number was maybe 60% of adolescents wait at least 5 to 7 years before disclosing any type of sexual abuse. And he said that doesn't mean that they disclose it to their parents or law enforcement. They may disclose it to like a friend. But then Bonjean shows him what he wrote, saying that a third of adolescents actually report that sexual abuse right away. So he contradicted himself right there. So that's why I say that was really interesting with the expert, because she just shut him down in the beginning. She shut all of that down. Like, you can't actually trust his testimony because he contradicts himself. Now, a year from now, he may get up there. Basically, what she's showing is he may get up there and testify to grooming means something totally different than it meant today. Someone says, I'm attempting to process that point that Drea has been in that tape. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to process. I mean, all this time he's been trying to protect her.
Yeah.
Wow.
They asked for Bonjean was asking the psychologist for reasons for reporting false allegations. And he says that mainly only happens in custody situations. So she showed him articles and asked him, were he familiar with the people that had read that had wrote these articles? And he said yes, he was. And she said, well, in this article, it shows that there are actually 8 different categories for reasons why people would make false allegations. The most cited one was motive to seek attention, material gain, revenge, regret, and etc. He says he has read that, but he says all of that still falls into the category of custody. Meaning somebody will do that if they want custody of the kids or something like that. He says they said, Bonjean asked him, have you ever heard of anyone isolating a whole family? And he said yes. And she said, with parents? He said yes. And he said, but were they complacent? No, not in the case that I'm thinking of. So, meaning when they were asked and stuff, did they still, were they complacent with saying like, no, I'm sorry. So basically he's saying with the whole family, normally when you have, well, she's saying when you have a accuser or alleged victim and they're saying that they're isolated, the abuser normally just isolates that person from the entire family. He doesn't isolate the whole family. But he's saying that he has seen that happen before. After that, Bonjean said nothing further. We took a break for about 15 minutes. Anybody have any questions on the psychologist, the expert witness?
So he basically don't know what he's talking about.
Not.
Heart.
Mm-mm. And just keep in mind he's a psychologist that actually works with the federal government, so he works at their jails and he works with veterans and things like that, but he does not work with for them to call him to the stand to testify how a child victim will react to being abused was kind of crazy to me, because he testified that he doesn't really work with child victims. He works more with adult victims and he works more with the actual sexual offender. No, the government did not redirect after that. So the second witness was Ann Mix Somebody. She works with the National Academy of Recording, which is the Grammy Awards. She's a senior manager director and she's the corporate secretary to it. She oversees all the files and paperwork, and she's a custodian of certain records. She manages the history of the world awards that was gave out, and also the nominees with respect to every single artist. She did do a good job, Michelle, of letting him know that he's not credible. She did a really good job with that. Um, she said that they do have records for R. Kelly. She reviewed the records showing exhibits to the witnesses only. Exhibit 329 was basically a detailed history report um, for his winnings and his nominations at the Grammys. He had 26 nominations lifetime, and he had 3 wins. One win was for Best R&B Artist, 97 for vocal. Another win was for Best R&B song, I Believe I Could Fly. And another win for the same song in 97, written for the best song written for a motion picture or television. In 97, he had 26 nominations for I Believe I Can Fly. In 98, he performed the song. Um, They played a snippet from the 40th Grammy Awards. That was Exhibit 104. The video showed the timestamp of Robert singing I Believe I Can Fly.
Did he react?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the over. By the way, y'all, I was in the overflow room. Let me put that out there. So I was in the, and I did not have a problem with that. So I watched it on the screen. I didn't go in the courtroom downstairs where Robert was. So let me put that out there. Did he react? I couldn't even. But to be honest with you, because I'm trying to take these notes and catch everything they say, I hardly ever look up, so I can't really tell y'all what expressions or anything that he was making during these times. I'm sorry. Um. So they showed a video. It was probably a minute and a half of him singing "I Believe I Can Fly." Now, I'm gonna give my reason why I think they showed that. I was speaking to me and Lolo was talking about it in the courtroom, and he had asked me if I thought that they showed it because they wanted the jury to be able to see what he looked like back in 97, 98. And I say, yeah, you know what, that's possible. But I feel like because they talked about his nominations and his wins, I think they were trying to set the stage for saying at this point in time back in 97, 98, he was at the height of his career. um he probably had the most money at that time, and I think they're trying to say he was powerful. So when all of this was going on, when you have the families coming in saying, oh, we were scared, we were frightened, we feared for our lives, if you show that this man was at the height of his career where he had the power to do such things, then that would be the reason why that they were probably scared, or why they could say that they feared for their lives, or whatever the case was. Because we got to look at it like Robert wasn't always, you know, where he was then. He wasn't always in that situation. So they want to pinpoint when all of this was going down, he was at the height of his career. He wasn't where he is now. I'm trying to say this in a respectable way. You get what I'm saying?
That's exactly. It
He
sounds.
wasn't broke. So
Mhm.
he had the power and he had the money to make things happen, which the government wants us to believe why the accusers were afraid to, and they listened to him. And when go back to when he said, "You either with me or you're not with me," they're trying to show his position in the industry at that time. I hope y'all following me. That's my thoughts. That's not what was said. That's my thoughts, because I don't understand why they're gonna show a clip of the Grammys of him singing "I Believe I Could Fly." They want to make the jury know. Y'all remember when this song came out? Everybody was singing it. Everybody knew who this man was. So they just trying to position himself in his rank, his power.
Yeah, my friend said that today. She thought that was what.
Yeah, that's the reason I feel that they did that. So then, Bonjean cross-examined. Somebody asked me, "Am I gonna be there for the entire trial?" I am not. I was going back tomorrow, but I'm not gonna make it. I'm sorry, y'all. Um, Bonjean cross-examines, and she asks about employment. Um, she asked her again about her employment with the Grammys, and she asked, "You guys, you maintain the archives of the records?" Yes, all the paperwork and all the records on any artist that was actually on those albums at that they were nominated for or that they won Grammys for. And she said, "Yes, that's all included." And she asked, "Well, were you aware that the father was on I didn't the first album. Sorry, I didn't get the name of the first album. I forgot which one she said." And the lady says, "No." "Well, were you aware that he was on the Chocolate Factory? He worked on that album?" "No." "He also got 2 nominations for 2 albums." The the lady says she wasn't sure. And the government at that time asked for a sidebar. So they did their sidebar. When they came back, Bonjean said there was a nomination in '99 for a record "When a Woman's Fed Up." She says correct. "Did you know that the father was on that worked on this album?" She did not. And then she asked, "Did he receive a award?" And the witness proceeded to tell her that this album was just for the artist. So anybody that actually worked on the album with him didn't receive an award, so she wouldn't know. Um, she Bonjean says in '99 he was nominated for the art album. Correct. The father was also on that album, worked on that album. She says she couldn't tell whether the father was nominated for that album. 2011, he was nominated for the Love Letter album. The father also worked on that album. So after that, Bonjean said no question, no more questions. Now I'm going to give my thoughts on why she did that. So the government just told us about '97, which was the height of his career, trying to make it seem like as though in '97 was the only time that this man had won a Grammy and was only nominated for anything. Bonjean broke down that he was actually nominated many years after that. So when these people say that they feared um, for their life or whatever at that time, he was still he was still making a lot of money. He was still being nominated for albums. He was still at the Grammys. So if he wanted to have something, I could be like getting ahead of myself. But if he wanted to have something done to somebody, he still could have had something, you see what I'm saying, Tanya? It wasn't just that at that point when he met them and all this was going on that he had that power. He was still a Grammy winning artist.
And also maybe the fact that the dad was still working with him even after that
To
fact.
show the history that he was still working with
Yeah,
them. Because I'm so the in the government's opening statement, he said they only did it because he needed money at that time. So how long did it take this man to secure some employment to where he didn't have to keep working for him?
exactly.
Um, Lolo government says he threatened the family with giving them money. First of all, that doesn't go hand in hand. You're not going to threaten someone and give money. But if that's the case, who made them spend that money? Yeah, you're right. The son was at the concerts. And let me see. Oh, I'm sorry. So then the government calls their third witness. The third witness was Detective Dan Everett. He was a he worked with the Chicago Police Department for 29 years and 6 months. He started in January 3rd, 1977. He began to investigate child abuse in 83. He was a part of the Special Investigations Unit. He began to work for the um, child abuse victims under the age of 13 or by children abused by family or people of authority. He started that in January of 1999. He worked with that department for 7 years until he retired. At the time, his title was a youth investigator. They then changed the title to a detective. He investigated crimes, um, sexual crimes, and child pornography crimes. In October of 2000, he says he received an assignment related to Jane by his sergeant. He took steps to start the investigation. He received an anonymous complaint. At that time, they did an objection, and so they stopped. And then it said allegations. There were allegations made of child abuse regarding a celebrity with a minor child. They went out to interview the family in December of 2000 at a shoe store located in Oak Park, Illinois. Him and his partner. Jane, her mother, her father were there. They interviewed all three. When they asked Jane was there a sexual relationship with R. Kelly, she said that he was her godfather and he would never do anything like that to her. Jane's parents said the same. Based on that, they made out on the police report, they labeled it as unfounded, simply because the victim says there was no crime committed. They started showing the actual report that they submitted. They basically, the first page of the report details the start of the investigation. The second part details the interview that they had with Jane. And then at the bottom of that second page of the report, it shows in all caps, bold letters, unfounded. Um, that is Exhibit 315. That's basically R. Kelly with minor. It's a summarization of the allegations received. Um, they asked if Jane's age, and this is the government. I'm sorry, you guys, if I didn't say that. This is the government questioning the detective. The detective that started the investigations back in 2000. They asked if Jane's age was on the report. Yes, because the investigation involved a minor. December 2001, there was a new investigation open involving them. In 2002, they received a videotape from Jim Derogatis. He said he watched the tape. He had seen a male adult performing sex acts with a young looking female. He said he recognized the young looking female to be Jane because of her facial features and he had met her previously in person. Um, do you know when it was recorded? No. Would she have been under the age of 18, February 1st, 2002? Yes. August the 15th, 2020, you reviewed a copy of this video. Correct. You also reviewed it this morning. Correct. Exhibit 1 was the disc. They reviewed the contents on the disc. Yes. Is it consistent with the video that you received from Jim Derogatis? Yes, it is. After you got the tape, did you go out to 1010 West George Street around February 11th, 2002? Yes. You received consent from the owner to enter the house. Now, mind you, Rob didn't live there at the time.
No, I would say he didn't live there.
Yeah, because it wasn't him, it was whoever the property belonged to then. Yes, they went into the house. He said he observed several similarities that he saw in the video. He then requested evidence technician. He took pictures. The pictures were taken on February 11, 2002 at 3:30 p.m. Exhibit 112A was a picture of the outside of the house. Exhibit 112B was a picture of the rear entrance of the house. Exhibit 112F was a picture of the cabin room. Exhibit 112D was the same room from a different angle. Exhibit 112Q was a bedroom in the building. All exhibits were at that point admitted into evidence. He then says it was very obvious that this room is the same room that was from video one. The following day, they attempted to interview the minor and her parents, but they were unsuccessful. Why? There was an objection, and then it was sustained. They said they went to the residence, but they never made contact at the residence with the family. He again said he watched the video Monday, this morning, and back in February, and it was the same video. And at that point, the judge says that they were done for today and they will resume tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Good job, Dottie. Good job.
Thank you. Whew. I'm done, y'all. Any questions? Any questions? Did I miss anything? How can a jury not see the study? I'm sure they will. Don't they see a check on a matter? Sphere for life is bullshit. So the cop interviewed the child. No, the cop didn't interview. They were there. Um, sometimes they speak with them separately. So they probably pulled her off to the side and asked her some questions, and she said that she denied it. She said that he was her godfather. He would never do anything like that to her. And the parents said the same thing. And at that time, the parents also blamed Sparkle. So they said that Sparkle was starting those rumors. And Rob said the same thing to Daryl McDavid. She was behind all of everything that was going on. He seemed to have pissed off a lot of people at the same time. And those people seem like they all came together, and because I'm saying, like, at the same, he fired Barry Hankerson. He fired Demetrius. He started working with Sparkle. So there you go. Whatever Jim Derrick got his issue is, he couldn't work for him and he was upset. So he had a lot of people upset with him at the same time. They all jumped on the bandwagon together.
I
That's
see someone said, damn, after all this time, I never believed any of this until now. The necklace. Wow. Oh my God. The plainest Jane was right. Dang. So what is that?
I don't know. Huh? Where is it? Um,
Up to the top, but
um, the judge hit me by his head. I don't think the judge seemed biased. Um, I don't think so. Um, you gotta so being that I was at the New York trial the entire time, I feel like in New York she seemed like she was more so coaching and holding the hand of the prosecution, and in this situation, um, no, I don't see that. I don't see that at all. Have you heard anything about the father? I know the father before he passed. I think he gave written. He did speak with and they said that that statement would probably be admitted into evidence. He did speak with the investigators and he gave a statement. So the detective admitted in open court of watching child pornography today. Yes, he did, but you got to understand that was part of his job. So it's not really a crime for him to watch it if it's regarding alleged accusation of child pornography. So he has to determine what's what. Um, did y'all recently see that picture that's floating around with Sparkle and Drea? Did you see that, Tanya?
yep, I saw it.
They didn't claim they didn't know each other, and
Hmm.
she claimed the only time she seen Drea was when she was crawling out of the room to try to use the bathroom.
Yep. She said that on the Breakfast Club or something like that. I
I thought she was going. Let me see. Okay, I'm trying to find that question.
She was knocking on the walls or something.
Yeah, she was knocking on the walls trying to come out. And that's when she seen her crawling or something. Daddy, can you take a leave of absence from work so you can be there every day? I've been in Chicago for like 2.5 weeks right now. I think my niece is getting tired of me. She's trying to send me home. You trying to send me home? They telling me to go back. She telling me to get out her house. She want her house back. The DCF, the the DCFS report is, they didn't show it to us today, but if I guess when they get to the agents, the DCF agents, if they call them as witnesses, they probably gonna go over the reports then. But keep in mind, those reports were all unfounded. Great. Thank you, Sir Miguel. I'm stunned. Can't wait to see what's coming. Did I miss anything? What was the question you were asking, Tanya?
It was all the way up to the top. If someone was just saying about the necklace.
So McDavid, they said that McDavid asked her to get rid of the necklace that she wore because allegedly the necklace that's on the person in the video one is also being worn by the minor in her passport photo. Fear for life while you're working for the man and put money on his books. Lowest point. Yeah, Keish, Bonjean made that point that the family was actually had a good relationship with Rob up until the day of his arrest. So, and also they stressed, and I don't know if you guys missed this, but Rashana was going to be, I'm sorry, Minor was going to be charged as well, but she was given immunity. So if at one point we were saying that she was standing by Rob or whatever, that changed because, in my opinion,
The government said, if you don't change, I'm going to charge you.
if he was Epstein, she would be Maxwell, Jazine Maxwell. She would have been the Maxwell in this case, and so instead, they gave her immunity to testify against him. I'm saying my opinion is just relating them to Epstein and Maxwell, but they said in the opening statements that she was given immunity. Lisa Van Allen was given immunity for blackmail and extortion. Nova, what you mean? Did they go back to the house to look and see after all the years? Um, Latanya, what is so? If DCFS did the test on her, what was the result? Since they never came back with an answer.
What test?
What test? There wasn't any test done on her.
See Blue Star's message?
No, I was scrolling up to the top. Tell me.
That's okay. Um, what did she say? So, Dottie, you're only leaving because you being kicked out?
No, my niece said she not kicking me out. So I came to Chicago. When I came here, it was hot, and of course I had Vegas closed. I wasn't planning on being here this long, and then I wasn't really planning on a trial either. So I have to go home because I really don't have appropriate attire to wear to a federal courthouse. So I need to go home. Um, we trying to work out something to where I can get back by Monday, at least. So I'll miss. And I really think tomorrow they have to finish questioning this detective. I think they're trying to get out all of their experts and the detectives and probably people from the DCFS and then probably the polygraph experts that they're gonna call. They're probably gonna get all of them out of the way before they start calling the accusers. Nova said, "Well, tell them to send your clothes." They don't like me like that. You said they passing out immunity like they flyers club. Yeah, yeah. Who was threatened to be charged with Rob and RL? I don't understand that. Who was threatened to be charged with Rob? Oh, I was talking about the minor. Yeah, yeah. So they gave her immunity as she testifies. Let me see. Let me go up. Latoya says, so if the cop saw the tape and thought it was the minor, did he re-interview her? So he went to re-interview her after seeing that tape, and he said that he didn't have access to her. They went to the house, but they didn't get access, so he wasn't able to. And at that point, um, the judge ended it for the day.
So someone says if the girl on the tape looked younger, then it has to be LVA. According to her, RL body was fuller than her, especially her breast. And what about Damon Pryor?
Is that at the end? Is that a new question? Um, because we're not going to get deep. Why was she? Um, what was she? Okay, so we won't know what she's going to be charged with, what she would be charged with. Bonjean says we have to wait until she's actually on the stand and she's going to question her on that so that we can hear it from her own mouth what they were going to charge her with and what she was given immunity for.
So she'll have a chance to ask her.
Yes.
Mhm.
Nikki says that makes the parents look unfit as hell. Yes, Bonjean actually said that they are the real sex traffickers. She absolutely said that. If I can find the picture, I will of Drea and Sparkle. I will post it in on that. What do you call it? The community wall where I normally post everything. Since I don't do these lives
It's
anymore.
on Twitter. Let me see if I can find it.
The first thing was Yeah, you know what? I think I do remember Lisa saying that the minor looked older. I think I remember that. So a few people, Daryl McDavid attorneys also said that when they received that copy, it was so blurry and they couldn't tell uh, who was who in that video either. And they also said that let me go back to that. I think they had the video analyzed back then, and they said that it looked like it had been altered. And because Robert was being set up by so many people, so many different allegations was coming up that they knew that that was just a part of it as well. What is that? I have to go to. And that's all in the opening statements was really good, child. Somebody said the key is Jim Derrick Goddess. Okay, new comments. Let me go back down. Okay. I heard, don't know if it's true, but word has it that Drea. They didn't mention anything. I heard that too, but they didn't mention anything about Drea testifying. The only thing that they said about her today was not only was she on tape was she on video for with Lisa in a threesome, but there's also another tape of her, and she's on a tape where he's also with another professional athlete's wife. Um, Deja Vu. Yep, it is. It's one tape that well, actually, it's two tapes. Tape one, which was the one that was circulating and that's all over the internet. Then you have tape two that has videos two, three, and four on it. The government does not have video four, so the tape that they have has been altered because they do not have video four on that tape. So you can't say that tape two should contain two, three, and four, but it hasn't been messed with, but yet video four is missing. So
Oh, it's missing because it's got her ass on there.
right, so I mean, like if you common sense, remember Rob said use your common sense, then that would mean that the tape has been tampered with, right?
Yep.
Um, Felicia, she's not a one. She's not a minor today. She's 37 today, so she wouldn't be charged. But you have to think. Again, I can say what I think that they were going to charge her for. I gave my example. I feel like if this was the Epstein case, she would have been considered like Jasleen Maxwell, but that's just what I think. But we won't know until she actually testifies because Bonjean is going to ask her what did she receive immunity for. I want to know who is the one that Demetrius paid to accuse Rob.
And also the other minors in this is only hearsay. There's no tapes, there's no nothing. They're just going
Correct.
on.
Yeah, thank you, Tanya. So there's 5 minors. 4 minors are not on any tapes. And then Tracy Sampson says that she was 16, but when she sued Rob civilly, she stated in the paper in that lawsuit that she was actually 17. So she wasn't even a minor.
And she's in Illinois, right? Chicago.
Where the age of consent is
She's
set
17.
in Illinois.
Thank you, people.
Let me see. Any other questions? Okay, this tape, Lord, this tape I recorded.
I don't think that they were expecting this, the government, this type of defense.
What you mean?
A Bonjean and a Bo and all these people. I don't think the government was expecting this type of defense.
I ain't gonna even lie to you when I say, because I was actually in the hallway with Daryl McDavid and his attorneys. Man, when I say they was clean, baby, they was like they meant business. They wasn't coming to play no games. They basically said that his attorneys back in the day did everything that they were supposed to do. They hired every single person that they were supposed to hire to prove that the tape was not authentic and that these people were lying and that they were setting him up. They proved that they opened a statement. I mean, and then when they bust out and said it was Drea on that tape, it was just like everybody was like, whoa, like how can you be on these tapes too but sit up here and get on all these television shows and all these platforms crying and saying you knew nothing about nothing?
So I wonder if the media is going to report that.
They absolutely will not. Have y'all heard anything about Drea being
Have
on?
not.
They
Dang, that's what I was going to say.
So let's see. Their goal is to get him because he got off the first time.
So, what do you think? Do you think, as far as McDavid's defense and McDavid getting up testifying, is he going to be against Rob, or are they working together? You think, as a team, or no?
It was so hard to tell because one moment it felt like they was working together, and then the next they would say something like, "Well, if R. Kelly lied to him, and you have him being acquitted at trial, if he can convince them and while he was lying, then why do y'all expect McDavid to know to not believe it if everybody else was saying it?" So it's kind of like they was shifting the blame, but at the same time they was providing a defense because when the witnesses get on the stand, they're gonna say that at different points they wasn't actually talking with Rob. They were dealing with Milton Brown and Daryl McDavid. So their defense is what they saw was not child pornography. Who they seen on the tape and they knew the minor, that was not the person that they seen on the tape. They talked to the minor and she said that that wasn't her on the tape. So it kind of still gives Rob a defense, like he's saying, I was being set up.
Yeah, because
And
they're actually saying that from
he,
what
he
they
said,
saw and the investigator saw, it was not a minor on that tape. Not
well, he also says he gives him the defense that at that particular time he was being set up by former managers and his role manager. So he gives him a defense. And he's a witness. He says he's a witness to that because he says he's the one that received the call from Barry Hankerson, um, saying that he was finna ruin Rob's life.
McDavid received the
Maybe
call.
received the call from Barry Hankerson that he was finna ruin Rob's career, and he had the tape and was releasing that same day. They got a call from the Sun Times to come down and review the tape because it was said to be Rob and a minor. When the lawyers and McDavid got to the Sun Times to review the tape, they were denied access to it.
So Rob wasn't with them when they went to view
No,
it.
no. I feel like they should talk about all of the girls when they talk about these settlements and how he was being set up. They should bring into play, um, when he was being sued, he turned around and countersued some of these people and won.
Wow.
No. And then it came a time when he stopped countersuing and they just started dishing out these settlements, but that was all what he was being advised to do. And then even with the New York trial, it's just it's sad because it's like you do everything that you can to protect yourself. They went and they got attorneys. They got all this legal advice on how they should proceed in situations like this. And it just seems like they're telling you now, even if your lawyer tells you this is what you're supposed to do, you can't even listen to that.
And then also, at some point, I thought I heard someone saying, or he was advised to record women when he was intimate with them for his protection. So
Right.
yeah.
That's that's because so in New York they said years after the 2008 trial, was it, I think it was Jensen, he still gave legal advice to Rob, and that was part of the legal advice, um, just to protect himself. And the only time he asked anyone to write anything, any letters, is after they had already been fired for stealing from him. So whenever he allowed them to come back, he had them write out what they did as protection for himself. You know what I'm saying? So that they did it again. Yeah, he did everything
He was advised to do.
under the advice of his attorneys. Nobody, um what I want to say, nobody, I'm sorry, y'all, I got a brain fart right now. Can't think of the word I'm looking for. Hold on. Someone said so. This whole time, the Lisa Van Allen was on the tape. She was with Drea. Yes. Daryl McDavid, attorney, says that it's Drea that's on that tape. Also, um, why were there no police reports? If you got a civil attorney, did the civil attorney ever alert the police concerning criminal matters when they were obtained? No. Everything was always settled out of court by the same attorney. Several different settlements by the same attorney. I think, is that a coincidence that everybody went to the same person?
No, and I'm sure Demetrius was somewhere involved in that as well.
Actually, Tiffany Hawkins said that, didn't she? Wasn't she one of the first ones? And she said Demetrius took her to, what was it, Susan Loggins?
Mm-hmm.
After that, it just became everybody went there. Even Geronda went to the same attorney, and Geronda actually sued them. Daddy Lolo, you keep leaving and coming back and leaving, and y'all asked me to do this live. Um, yeah, Geronda sued him, got a settlement, paid the money back to him, turned around, sued her own attorneys, then sued him again. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but the white men surviving series came out after their sentencing. What's that, Tanya? The white men surviving series.
I have no idea.
It's
Are,
a
are you talking about
quiche question. She said, correct me if I'm wrong, but the white men surviving series came out after their sentencing.
he's
Oh,
talking about, yeah.
talk about like Epstein. And, oh, yep. This is some shocking stuff. Nova gave money away to Bubba. Yeah. I wonder will we ever see Bubba in court.
Probably not.
Mr. Farrakhan said the same thing about Barry, saying he was going to ruin Robert in this on video. Yep. It's clears. Neither did I, and I was following at least 5 people in that courtroom today. Tiffany, you say neither did I. What y'all hear or didn't hear? Oh, y'all said y'all heard nothing about Drea.
The other pages when they did their commentary about today.
Yep. Drea was a big one. And that was, I put that in quotation marks. That came from, and when they start reading their transcription stuff, they might have missed that part, but it's in Daryl McDavid's attorney paper.
Opening statement.
Got it right here. Where is it? He says, you're going to meet a woman that Demetrius offered money to lie on R. Kelly. She actually wore a wire. And she was saying that she was basically being solicited to make false claims on Rob. They heard the wiretap, the attorneys and McDavis. And also, y'all, keep in mind, McDavid is going to testify to all of this as well. So he's testifying. The money that was used to pay these women to lie on Robert came from Barry Hankerson. Let me get to the part with the wife. Is there another? You can ask me another question while I'm looking for it. Am I wrong? My niece went with me to court today, y'all. So didn't you hear the same thing I heard? That Drea is the one on the tape with Lisa Van Allen? Okay, so I ain't making it up.
We believe it, girl.
Um,
And she was hog tied, right?
Yeah, girl, she was hog tied and all that.
If she don't go set her ass down somewhere today. Daddy Lowe said he heard it too. Did ladies in the
Thank you. See? Okay, I can. So let me see. Yeah. So you have a PI that worked for presidents. That's how good of a job he does. That's how good he is. You have all these attorneys who were the best in Illinois that um, Daryl McDavid's attorney says helped to retrieve these tapes, and also are the ones that ordered the polygraph test of these people. You have all these professionals that stated that any of this stuff was true. These tapes, this particular tape was not real. It had been in so many different hands. Parts of it was missing when they did get it back. Um,
So they just chopped and screwed it however they wanted it.
that's basically what they did, and they took out parts. So you have to think Lisa Van Allen did not want that fourth video that showed her and Drea, not her and a minor, because she wanted to be able to tell that story. That's that so either she could continue to blackmail him or she continues to extort him.
I'm sure it was for extortion purposes.
She could use it for clout. Um, some women do dumb stuff. They will literally hold stuff over your head like kids, just so they have a reason to contact you, or so that they can find some type of way to still be in your life after you remove them.
Minor one was I've heard that she even said to Rob, "Remember who I am," when she was asking him for rent money.
Yep. So women don't just use kids as leverage to keep you in their life. They use whatever they can, and um, I think this is just an example of that. That's why you can't. I mean, like they said in the opening statements, why can't we find video for? And why is he being charged with something that's coming from is based off the testimony of a person that's been extorting him for years? And then why wait 20 years to bring these charges if you had these tapes all this time?
Yeah, and so was there a motion put in for tape 4, video 4? No, or
It,
did they just
they,
decide that they weren't going to show that
no,
recent?
they don't have it. They said they don't have it, and they blamed it on Rob for not having it. They said that he got rid of it.
So okay. Hmm.
He said, "This is my first time being on your live, but I hope that flight is in the AM and you're returning in the PM back in court on Friday."
Someone said, "What you need to be back by Monday?"
As thick as I am. So I can't borrow her clothes. I wish I could. I promise y'all I'll stay. She little. She ain't nothing but what is you, 4'10"? Oh, she's 5'2". Um yeah. Daddy Lolo, yep. He was there. Videos 1 through 3 can't be authenticated. How can you charge someone who's been saying it was never her and her parents say it? Um, the only one that Bonjean discussed that she was probably given immunity for was if she lied under oath and her parents lied under oath. But she did insinuate that there was other reasons why she was given immunity. But she says that we would have to wait until she's actually on the stand and she testifies to what um, her immunity was given for. So we
Like other crimes other than.
crimes did she commit? And I, like I say, you guys, I honestly feel because they, the reason I feel like it's a Maxwell type of situation is because when you go back to the New York trial and stuff, and you listen to all of them witnesses, then they brought up
A
they
trainer.
minor's name. They kept saying her name. I think Joanna even talked about how she seen her at a party in 2009 or 10 or whatever. She's seen her. So I that's why I feel like, because she stayed around, and like Bonjean said, they was still, he still had a good relationship with the entire family up until his arrest. So I'm just basically saying they looking at her like an accomplice.
Miss Cece. They said, can they cash up you for some clothes?
Oh, that's so nice. That's sweet. They said, tell your spouse to mail your clothes. That's cheaper. Just a thought. Y'all want me to go up in there looking like, goddamn it, what the fuck, huh? Excuse my language. Having him mail me some clothes. Um, ABC News is talking about the case now. Are they mentioning Drea? Basically, they say the mother and the minor will probably say the daddy made them lie because he still wanted to work. No, deja vu. The mother and the minor. You said the mother and the minor will probably say that the daddy made them lie because they still wanted to work for RSK because they needed money. Now he's gone. They claim to tell the truth. They were saying that they're going to tell the truth before he passed, and they already said in the opening statements that they were going to testify too, that they feared for their life, and that Robert basically threatened them to either be with him or, what did I say? You either with me or
Yeah.
you're against me. If you're against me, I don't know what could happen to you. So that's their reasons. Let me see. I really wish I could have heard, but this just gives Bonjean more time to prepare. But when they go back tomorrow, they're gonna start. The detective will still be on the stand, and he's gonna get cross examined. Matter of fact, I wonder if he gonna get. So is he gonna get cross examined by um, Daryl McDavid's attorneys? Let me see. He probably won't be. Daddy Lolo says, basically they say Jane's going to authenticate the tape being real. Just because she say it is, then it is. Well, I say treat her like a forensic and ask her questions about the forensics. Yep, I agree. I think they're gonna say, she's chuckling at us, but we are serious about her being there. It's like she has written the full transcript by hand. You know what? I didn't. When the shorthand class, when I went to New York and I sat up in there and I started taking notes, I surprised myself, y'all. Like literally, I promise you, I didn't look up for 8 hours straight from writing. If y'all see how many notebooks I have at home on the New York trial, it's ridiculous. I surprised my. You never know what you can do until you actually just start doing it. Will Drew be testifying? I don't know. The only ones from the defense that they confirm will be testifying is the woman that Demetrius paid to lie on Rob, and Daryl McDavid himself. Um, oh, thank you, Felicia. Thanks, Dottie, for the updates regarding. You are so welcome. It's 10. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sir Miguel. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry if it's long. Um, you guys got any more questions? Any questions? I see some of they say Drea and Spark are possible witness. I wouldn't Lolo, did they say that today? I wouldn't I'm not I know Sparkle. He said, "Don't I need to go to court? Go to bed to be in court tomorrow at 10." Can y'all please put no names in this chat? Um, Tanya, how do you do that? Can you put it up here? Hold on, yeah.
Just put it in the chat.
I don't see. Listen,
Text it to me.
I don't. I don't even. Let me. Can I wait? Okay. Was it any minors? Can you answer that?
Was it any minors? Yeah, there's 4 that was supposed to that's supposed to
Well,
test.
they say 5, but it's 4.
Yeah.
I mean, like, tell them. Do you remember who they were? I think that's it. Check and see if that's my cash app. I think that's it.
No, I didn't write the names down, but I see it. All right, I'll put it in there. Hold on. Go over the names again. Say them again so I can write them down this time because I was doing
Um,
something else.
so you got minor 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have. Okay, you have 2 would be. Hold on.
Cake or somebody.
Yeah. Two is. Hold on. Give me 1 second, y'all. Please bear with me. Let me see. I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna actually just say it again. What
Okay, Jane, Pinky, Brittany, and Maya.
Naya?
Dayla will put Maya.
Let me see. Okay, so I'm gonna just go over the counts. So you got 13 counts. Counts 1 through 4 relates to the videos 1 through 4, and um the 4th video they do not have in their possession. Again, it's 2 tapes, different scenes. You have video 1 with count 1, and then you have video 2 that has videos 2, 3, and supposed to be 4, but 4 is missing, but he's still being charged. Then you have, okay, I thought it did. You got to write something in the chat, Tanya. Then you have count 5, which is conspiracy to obstruct justice, which is the concealing of the videos. That's what R. Kelly and Daryl McDavid is being charged with. Then you have count 6, which all 3 are being charged with conspiring to receive the child pornography. Count 7 and 8 is just Kelly and McDavid. They're being charged with actually receiving child porn. Count 7 is and pertains to videos 2 and 3. Count 8 pertains to video 4, the video that they don't have. Count 9, it involves enticing and coercing Jane to engage in sexual acts. The same pertains to count 10, which is Nia. Count 11, which is Tracy. Count 12, which is Pinky. Count 13, which is Brittany. Right, Lolo, I said that too. Brittany is not Jane's cousin, according to the government's opening statements, because they refer to her as a friend to minor, and Pinky is also a friend to minor 1. She said, "I want to be there with Boss Baby testify." Um, thank you, Nova. Okay, so let me see. How can they be charged with porn? There are no underage girls. Tennille, they charged with the child pornography because they're saying minor was 14, and they're saying Tracy was 16 and another was 15. Brittany isn't using a fake name either. She's just going by the first name. Um, Good night, Shay. I'm gonna need everyone who hasn't had a job in 20 years to shut the hell up. Nova, yes, please keep them in different parts. All right, Tanya, is anything else? You think we about done?
No, ma'am. Just wish you could go back tomorrow or the rest of the week.
No, none of the others is on the tapes.
So
So,
it's here.
um, so supposedly 1 through 4 all contain, um, all have minor one in it, and what was the big bombshell today was video 4 that they don't have actually is not minor one is not on that tape. That's of Lisa Van Allen and Drea. Rachel, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I missed it. I'm not gonna be covering the whole trial like New York. Well, if it was child porn, why is the tape still online? Right. TJ said, well, if it's child porn, why is the tape still online? Yeah, he was acquitted. Y'all have to understand that's how the feds work. They can do that. They can you know, he wasn't he wasn't supposed to walk out of there. At the end of the day, I still think, I said it before, it's a black and white thing. He wasn't supposed to walk out of there a free man in 2008. But like Bonjean said, if you're saying that you're doing this because you care about little black girls, why did it take 20 years? Wait, more than 20 years, right? That's like in New York when they said it was on the tape of him and Jerron and a lot of people. Yeah, so they've put all of this information out there, and they have people saying, "Oh, he got this tape, and he got," and that's not even the case.
Wait till they hear that it was actually that dog head wife of his, ex-wife.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, and I'm going off of Tanya of what they're saying about why didn't anyone sue the online sites who allowed to upload and view that video one, and I'm guessing they probably didn't have to take it down because he was acquitted, so there was no child pornography there. But I'm guessing maybe now, since it's back in the courtroom, if we go look for it, it'll probably be gone now.
One of the crimes that RL
I
probably
have
committed was PPP loans.
I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about that. All I know, they ain't discussed that in court today. Why hasn't the government targeted those online sites for prosecution? Maybe they got immunity too. They gave everybody else immunity. Yeah, I don't have. I went and bought this today to wear, and I luckily I had some shoes. But yeah, I don't have the proper attire to go into court. So I
Well, they probably won't testify. Like boss maybe probably won't start until next week. Maybe you're
that's what I'm
thinking,
thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking because it seemed like they starting off with all the.
but they're actually going pretty fast though.
Listen, that judge told Jennifer had asked if she could have permission to approach the witness because she wanted to give her a piece of paper, and the judge said, "Listen, you do not have," he said, "you do not have to ask. No attorney in here have to ask anymore to approach the witness. Just do it." It was so funny. He was like, "Just do it. I don't care. Don't ask." Daddy, I heard Jennifer B playing with them in there. Jennifer B, any playing with them. Shay, I don't understand. Energy? Is that what that's supposed to be? But Gail claimed everybody don't know each other. All of them know each other. I was talking about, was it ever a sequel assault? Was it a second assault? A sequel assault? Latanya? I
I don't know
don't.
what that means.
Sir Miguel, is JP testifying? I seen that live that she did where she was pissed off. She said that they came to her saying that she would have to, but I'm not sure that she is. I don't know. They didn't give a list of the witnesses or who would be testifying. Actually,
Well,
actually, they in the opening statements they made no mention to anything that she could be saying at all. I hear it's a bad act, so she probably isn't. Jennifer wasn't playing with them. Hopefully, Drea keeps it cute. She's done a lot, lied a lot, but those kids need a. Okay. I'm talking about Mr. Kelly Lloyd. She is lit. Oh, that's not O'Shea. That's not just Jennifer, but that's also Daryl McDavid's attorney. He the one who dropped that bombshell about Drea, and he also the one that dropped the bombshell about Demetrius paying one of the people that's going to testify. So you basically have a woman that's going to testify that people that worked with him, Demetrius, uh, told these women how to basically set him up. You know what? Depending on how this go, I don't know if there's going to be a state case. She said, "What about Lisa line?" But I can talk about Lisa this entire time. Is there a particular question you have? That's the state case probably won't come back up again unless in the near future he happens to he wins that appeal and he wins this, then they probably gone. Because even the judge said like waive all his appearances and stuff for the time being. So I don't think they're gonna bring that back up until all of this is over because he said he's already in custody of the federal government. So what can the state really do to him? Not yet such fame not set up.
I guess it's
Hey,
praying him.
they all need to be sued for this, and I'm praying the Court of Appeals see through this. I just want to say that I see why they asked for a mistrial so early into this. I would not be surprised if they asked for a mistrial at least two more times before this trial is over with. From the way that it's looking and from the way it's going, I think they're gonna ask for it at least two more times, especially Daryl McDavid's attorneys. I want to know, does anybody think? Well, everybody on here, I know y'all don't think, but like Tanya, do you think that there's a way that they can ever really say, "Oh, Daryl McDavid, you're Daryl McDavid, not guilty, but still find Rob guilty"?
No, I don't. Mm,
Even think that you can, right?
I don't. I don't know if you could or not because hmm, if he's guilty, then McDavid's guilty because it's the same charge. So how can one be guilty and not? I don't know. I have to look at how it's written up.
Yeah, because I'm saying like I don't think so. If they find McDavid innocent, they not guilty, they will have to find him not guilty too, because that would mean that everything that McDavid said, that when what tapes he seen, there was no child pornography. That means Rob didn't make it, right?
Because the charges are the same. It's worded the same way. So I mean, I'm not sure, especially the ones that they're on together. Yeah, if he's guilty, then Rob's guilty. If he's not guilty, then Rob should be not guilty.
And then I needed to look it up, but I think the charge that carries the most time and weight is the obstruction charge.
And that's 5, I
I
think.
think it's the
Uh,
obstruction charge that
which one is obstruction?
um
It's
4.
one. It's
Five
one that.
is
Yeah,
5,
I thought it was 5.
and that's him and Daryl McDavid, right?
Yes, and that's why someone's saying that's why it was a problem for the judge to deny Bunjing's motion to sever. They wanted to separate it. Remember?
Yeah. I thought that was Daryl McDavid that wanted to separate the case.
Mm-mm.
That
Jennifer did it.
and it was Daryl McDavid.
I thought Jennifer filed that motion, but I may be wrong.
No, before she even came on.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did it prior too.
they were first arrested.
Yes. Yes.
Because you got to think about it. If they really want Rob, it would have been better if I was looking at it. If I was Daryl McDavid's attorneys, it would be easier for me to get him get a verdict by separating it. So I can
Yeah.
understand they would want to do that, because
Yeah.
if they really want this person, they gonna get you to get him. Okay. Somebody said if she was putting money on his books, how was she scared of him? And he had sent his condolences to the family when he died. Yeah, that's all gonna come out when she gets on that stand. Bonjean spoke on that in her opening statement about how he still had a very good relationship with the family up until the day he was arrested, and what they say, he was attending events and social gatherings and things like that.
My
No,
God,
I
I don't know, but I'm almost with everybody else about the fact that somebody needs to be here that's going to report it. Like, because when Bonjean and McDavid's attorneys cross examined,
man,
oh my God,
fire in that courtroom with them. When I tell you, McDavid's attorneys was like, I wish I could have got a picture of y'all of all of them. They look powerful.
they look like some powerful W men
They
coming in
look
here
like,
for battle.
oh, they on point. And I mean, it was when we was downstairs, because I was downstairs around them. When they were coming back in, they was patting each other on the backs after they did their opening statements and stuff, wasn't they, Niecy? They was patting each other on the backs. Daryl McDavid was giving his attorneys hugs and everything. Um, so I answered that. I highly doubt he's gonna be testifying, just because he has that appeal.
He didn't need to testify anyway.
Um, like they say, it's an emotional thing. He's really emotional about this. In the trial, Rob cried in New York, so he's emotional.
I mean that, and it would make no sense for him to testify anyway because it wouldn't make any sense for him to testify. He's got an appeal. He's got all kinds of things going on.
Yeah, and with Daryl McDavid testifying to everything that the attorney said, I think that's enough. The court will want to use testimonies like they did in New York. Which testimonies? By keeping them all together, you have to acquit all or convict all. Yep. I'm sorry, Nisi. Let me see this. I'm back. I know you.
You told me not to.
You hungry?
You told me not to.
Hold on, I'm gonna take this to the kitchen. No, Robert does. Yeah, no. Everybody agrees he does not need to testify. Um, Dang, yeah, but I wonder if Drea is Daddy Lolo. If you still here, you heard them say that Drea was gonna testify. Before the case somebody said Milton might not get off if Kels is guilty. I think it all is exactly what they said. You have to convict them all or find them all innocent or not guilty. I don't think it can be one or the other.
No, that's not the way they have it written up.
Oh, it was in a motion that she was a possible witness. I probably should have read the motions, huh? I definitely want to be a court of jury. I want to hear. I want to hear how all of these people are going to explain how they all um, victims to crimes where they were actually benefiting from certain things, where they were actually seeking financial gain in this. Each and every last one of the people that they have, and all of the attorneys said this in their opening statements, they all have they're all criminals. They've all have immunity. I have never seen a trial where every witness has some type of immunity.
They're calling him a criminal, but everybody that's testifying and that this trial is about are criminals as well. So we're giving you guys immunity just to get this one person. Nobody else needs to be in trouble.
Yeah, it's like you'll throw away 20 other people to get one person. Yeah, it's crazy. I want to hear Boss Baby. No, she was not in court. But they said they want to hear Boss Baby, so that's her new name, Boss Baby.
Boss Baby, her mammy, and Dog Head.
Wait, who is AK? Is listed as a possible? Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't read that motion, so I'm sorry. I'm not prepared. I guess I get kind of deterred from reading all of that stuff because it's like I had never been to law school. I just it's just common sense stuff. So when I was sitting there, I guess
Well, he told us on Gail King, use your common sense.
it's like I'm just dumbfounded as to everything that I sat in that courtroom and I seen and I heard, and for him to still get a guilty conviction, I don't get it. So when it come to reading emotions and stuff, it's like it don't even matter to me because it seemed like if they want him, I don't care what you say and what you do, they gon' like, for example, everything's been denied. And these were good motions. I just can't keep reading that stuff and getting excited just to turn around and it be denied. What needs to happen, in my opinion, is in order for these motions, I feel like even though they get denied, if they were on major platforms, if bigger media outlets and stuff was talking about these motions, I think it, even if it got denied, I think it'd still do them a lot of justice in the courtroom. But because there's not a lot of big platforms that's picking it up, people still not hearing. Like Jennifer said at sentencing, if you guys read my motions, which you probably haven't, you will see that he does stand a very good chance of having a successful appeal. But they're not reading the motions, so they're not talking about that stuff. They're not talking about everything. They're not talking about they picked up the text messages, okay, but it was a lot more that went along with those text messages. They're not talking about the videos the parents were sending him while these girls were singing uh in their underwear and things like that. They're not talking about none of that. Not only that, they may be talking about it, but they ain't doing shit about it.
So, and another thing, and someone mentioned it too, the motions, even though they probably know they're going to be denied, they're wanting them on record for appeal purposes.
We wouldn't need an appeal if we
Yeah,
get to report the motions.
yeah,
And
exactly. But I mean, I think they're filing them to be on record,
yeah,
especially with New York, with what Jennifer was doing.
I would. I appreciate that, but I would appreciate if the motions would get heard so that he won't have to sit some more years waiting on the appeal. They can
Exactly.
He can get found not guilty on this stuff, you know, now.
Someone asked, "Is there 3 tapes?" But I think you said, Dottie, that there's 1 tape with 3 different scenes.
Tapes.
2 tapes with.
Okay, so tape one is the original tape that was circulating that he went to trial for in 2008. Tape two is what's new to us. That has videos 2, 3, and 4 on it. Well, it did. The
2
one
and
in their possession has videos 2 and 3. Um, Minor one is going to testify, and I'm sorry, Lisa will testify that there was video 4. Um, that showed her with minor one. However, the government says that Rob got rid of video 4 off of that tape. Somehow he erased it and got rid of it. But if you think about it, why would he get rid of the threesome video 4 but not get rid of video 2 and 3? If that
or
just
video 1.
so that makes no sense. Um so yeah.
So what I'm saying, do you think it'd be brought up that McDavid and Susan Logan were colleagues and that's why the ladies went to her? And how were these minors able to cash these settlement checks?
It would all depend on what Jennifer, some of her defense is she trying to say that Daryl McDavid was a part of the setup? Because she would have to be insinuating that he was a part of the setup in order for them to bring up that situation.
Yeah, I don't know if we.
Yeah, so I don't know if she didn't mention anything like she didn't make it seem as though that was gonna be part of their strategy during the opening statement. I'm gonna just say that. The black people are celebrating catching a man that got one man in Rico in the future. Yeah, this should be a wake up call to all black men. Got it. Okay. I have to agree. You are right when it came to Bill Cosby. Actually, I think what ended up happening was Bill Cosby, and I could be wrong. He filed an appeal. I think the first time it was denied. The second time it was granted. While he was awaiting appeal, they came to him and said that they would um what was it, he would get paroled if he admitted to the crimes.
Yes.
He didn't admit to the crimes. So he didn't get the early parole, but then the before the Supreme Court even really heard the case, when they were going over the transcripts and etc., they seen the discrepancies. He was not Certain testimony was not supposed to be used against him at his trial, and it was. So that's why he was released, due to that agreement that the former prosecutor
Mm-hmm.
prosecuting him agreed to, and they violated his rights, and that was the reason he was set free. So if Bill Cosby technically was in jail the 4 years waiting on his appeal before they just released him, and I could be wrong, but I don't know. Hope Jennifer asked, why did she go back to Rob? Thank you. You know what? She just read my mind. I sat that in court. I said what Jennifer said was, um, the girl Lisa asked to leave to go back to ATL, but then, no, that wasn't even Jennifer that said that. But then that was the government. But then Rob asked her not to leave and to stay with him, and she agreed. So yeah, I hope Jennifer say that too. Why you left and came back with the baby? Don't she got a baby with Keith? Isn't that the baby daddy?
I don't think so.
And then I want to know, because she said they said that Lisa's gonna testify that she wasn't allowed to eat. She was locked in rooms. Um, if she didn't follow the rules, she was gonna be abused. They say all of that. I want to know, when did she
They
get
said that today. That's
that
what she's gonna
that
say.
allowed to eat? That she was locked in rooms. She had to ask for permission. She had to call him daddy. Girl, it's New York all over again. When it come to her, and what I want to know is, if that's the case, when did you get the balls to steal a tape and then send that tape to somebody else, not knowing what they was gonna do with it when they was in their possession, and if he was gonna find out? You wasn't worried about him doing something to you then?
So who
You
released her? Who took her out of prison? How did she get out of prison?
girl, she walked. She walked because she wasn't in prison. She walked. I want to know, if you going through all of that, why is your first in your mind, the first thing your mind tells you to do is to worry about you being on the tape having a threesome? Why is that the first? You ain't thinking about your safety. You got your baby there. You ain't thinking about your baby safety. Your first mind, you ain't sending an SOS for help. You ain't writing a letter telling Keith to come rescue you. You locked up. You can't eat. You sending him a tape. And then they also say that Lisa's going to testify that she got word that Keith was actually shopping the tape around. And so that's when she contacted Rob, and for him to try to get the tape back. And then that's when I don't understand why he would offer to give you $250,000 for a tape that you trying to get back because you own it, and you hear your baby daddy is shopping that tape.
They probably gonna throw her whole testimony
Like,
out.
would go call Rob and say, you know what? I got this tape. My baby daddy got this tape. We want $250,000 to get it back. That makes more sense. It don't make sense that
Wasn't her testimony thrown out the first trial?
she was gonna be arrested the first trial for lying to the oath. She was actually supposed to be a part of the New York trial, but they removed her because they said that she wasn't credible. And then didn't the daughter, didn't she recently have like an IG page or something where she was talking about how she was living with Rob when she was younger and stuff? I just don't understand why he would pay for a tape that you wanted back because you was on it. It makes more sense that he would pay for the tape because his wife was on it with you and you were threatening to put it out, right?
Exactly.
God, this stuff got my hair.
The heifer went had a
I think
whole baby and came back.
with everything that we just discussed and all these different scenarios and all these different possibilities, I honestly feel like a good jury, this type of stuff will come to their head. Well, we got more information than they do, but eventually, if Jennifer hit on if she bring up the history, I'm hoping brings up the history and the 2008 and all of that stuff, a lot of that history, and it'll just put that reasonable doubt in their head, and they just come back with not guilty. Because I honestly think that at this point, this is just a waste of taxpayers' dollars. This is ridiculous.
She bought her a house and a car while taking care of her and her child.
She left, had a baby, came back, took care of her and her daughter. Make it make sense. And then set him up with law enforcement. Yep. Extort, blackmail him for money over those tapes, and then set him up with law enforcement. And she gonna testify that she received $80,000 from Daryl McDavid.
She got $80,000.
And Keith received $100,000. Her baby daddy received $100,000, and Daryl McDavid told she was upset because she didn't get $100,000, and he told her that it was her fault that he even had to pay Keith that $100,000. So she better take what she got, and he lucky that he didn't have her murked. Huh? Y'all don't give them information. TJ, she tried to change her story after she didn't gave written statements and testified to a grand jury. This will be a mistrial. It's too late in the game for her to change now. She stole his Rolex too, and he still allowed her to come back there to live. Yep. That was his downfall. Somebody said, Dottie, can we get I can't even discuss that. Can we I'm sorry. So Tina, I can't even say you don't have to be. Oh, okay. I read that. You think they will call Barry?
I thought I heard them say that someone's going to be. They were asking on the last call about a elderly person that was going to have to testify via video.
That probably him.
It's probably Barry.
That's probably. No, but the opening statements pretty much gave you a big picture of everything everybody's gonna testify to. So all their testimony is already in sworn statements. If they get on the stand and try to change up, then that's a win for us because the defense has their sworn statements and has what they're gonna testify to. That's how they prepare for their cases, and that's how they prepare their questioning because they already know what they're going to get on the stand and say.
Yeah,
So if
they have the grand jury testimony, right?
the grand jury testimony and all. So if they get on that stand and they say something different, like they caught up ass on her stuff, if they try to say something like that, that's a win for the defense because the defense can come back and say, but you just told in this sworn statement you said F, Y, and Z, whatever. That's the win for us. So they
Well, a lot of that was done in New York, but nothing was done about it. You know, as I mean, they wanted to impeach her whole testimony almost.
and she gave But see, this the difference is the attorneys that's
Yeah,
present.
yeah. It's a
Those
difference.
attorneys let that stuff ride. That wasn't supposed to slide. These attorneys is not gonna let that slide. Trust me, that's not gonna happen. So it's too late in the game for them to try to change up their story. Mm. Exactly. He got competent lawyers now. Yep. Um, has nothing to show. No, I was thinking the same thing. All that and ain't got nothing to show for it. They all lied in New York and didn't get in trouble. You know what? Time will tell. We gotta wait and see what that appeal say, and we don't know. There's what's the statute of limitations to lying under oath or lying or perjury? Is there a statute of limitations on you?
I don't think so.
So there you go. Remember Nicole said that's why you're gonna find. Yeah, we know he have good attorneys, but they playing dirty. This judge. It's to me, it's a difference when they say they playing dirty. I just honestly feel like this is 2008 where they thought that they was gonna bring. They thought they had a case and they really don't. But in New York, it was more so like they was just like he said under the table, just dirty stuff that they was doing. It's a. But then again, this trial just started, so I don't know. But um, I just feel like they think they have a case and they don't. I think they felt like I don't know. What about her crew performing in Germany? What about her brother stating that she practically raised him? So if it's true, how was he hiding her out from her family? Um, I think they saying in 2008 he was keeping her from the family, but that don't even make sense because they said that she's gonna testify that during the trial she was kept on his tour bus, and she was also kept in different hotels and things like that. But that don't make sense to keep her from the family when you also asking the they want us to believe that he was also asking the parents to lie as well. So why would you just keep her away and not her and the family? Why keep her isolated and then you asking them all to do the same thing? That's what don't make sense to me. And I want to know, when they say that this man threatened them, I just want them to just because they didn't do it in New York, just bring one person on the stand that say that Rob actually did something to somebody because they did something different than what he asked them to do. Can one person just testify to something like that? They don't have nobody's testifying to that. It's all, well, they said, but you wasn't scared enough. You wasn't too scared that you wasn't gonna go in there and ask this man to give you $250,000 to give you this tape. You wasn't afraid of what he'll do to you, and you went there by yourself.
They were not scared of him.
They wasn't. They wasn't. But I'm finna do what people say. I'm about to shut up. They should do like Jimmy Boy and plead the fifth. The electronic evidence was not forensically sound and it's not an original copy. No, it's not an original copy. There were multiple copies made. I think somebody even said that the guy Keith had actually recorded some of it on his phone. When did
Thirsty, weren't they?
when did Boss Baby father stop working with Robert? Hmm, I'm not sure. Wait, 2011. Oh wait, it's right here. 2011, he was on with Love Letter. That was the last time. I don't think so either, Nova. I don't think so. But again, it's still early. Got my eye on you. You are so welcome. Dang, okay, everybody's still up with me. Okay, it's 11 o'clock. Anything else? Any other questions? He was working on. That was the last one, right, Lolo? I keep hearing Keith's name. Isn't he a friend? No.
Different Keith.
Not that Keith. Lisa Van Allen's baby father, Keith Morrell. That Keith. The one that she originally sent a tape to, that made the copies. The one that spoke with Kim Fox and Avenatti. Oh, and then also, let's not I know I said this about one of them, but let's also keep in mind Avenatti was representing these people as well. He was their attorney.
Yeah.
Remember that voicemail? I mean, not that voicemail, but that voice recording that Nike did when he tried to extort Nike. When he said on that recording, 90% of the stuff that you're hearing about R. Kelly is false. Only 10% of it is true.
Yep.
So
they have a recording of him saying that.
And he was found guilty of a crime because of that recording. So hopefully they'll bring that into as a plan to this trial too.
Damien's the baby father, not Keith, right?
Oh shit. Is it Damien?
I don't know.
Yeah, so it was two guys. So Damien is the one that favors Rob. That's the baby father. And Keith is the heavy set one. He's a little bit heavier than him. I'm sorry. I saw something where the brother said she was laughing at others because her story is the biggest. It's ridiculous because what about 22 years of nothing?
Yul Brown. Which one is Yul Brown? The dark, heavy one?
So who the hell is Keith? Okay, hold on. I need my other phone. That's Damien, the baby father. We can't keep this shit straight. How the jury's supposed to keep it straight? And we've been... Okay, Keith is Yul Brown. So imagine if we can't keep this straight and all these people interacted with these tapes and all of this stuff, how do you think the jury, if they haven't been following this as long as we have, gonna keep it together? So Keith is Yul Brown. Damien is the baby father. Damien is the one that was beating her up and the reason why she had to take her baby and move back in with Rob, right? Avenatti was not even licensed to practice law in Illinois. And wasn't Avenatti... Didn't the judge bar him from even speaking on the R. Kelly trial? I mean, stuff too. Stops him from doing interviews and press conferences and stuff. Yul Brown, the one that did the interview, said that the video he seen Rob was going to give him something for that tape. So AR, is he the one in 2008 had said that he was going to do a press conference if he didn't get more money?
I'm gonna go look at the paperwork.
One of them said that they was going to do a press conference, and they actually was supposed to have met with the reporter or something, but they didn't show up. And then you have to find out who. When you look it up, Tanya, see if Charles Freeman, because he's mentioned in it, see if he has a nickname, if one of these people is him. Okay, Bless say Yul Brown is Lisa Van Allen's husband, and Keith is the friend. They said they knew Rob wouldn't hurt a fly and they took full advantage. I agree. Okay. Y'all finna make me go back and read on Chuck. Because Chuck is Charles. All these people play so many. This is just ridiculous. This is enough to make me say, you know what? Dismiss. I would have granted a mistrial because this shit is a headache. What are they saying? Charles, aka Keith, is the one who's going to get. Thank you. I'm getting my head. Tell you, everybody on here talk about their head starting to hurt from even thinking about this stuff. Like, who?
I don't know. I have to go back and get the names right. So
This is crazy. They got all these different names and nicknames and can't keep up. And I don't know, y'all. It said, I think Avenatti got rocked to sleep in his own extortion. Yeah, that was dumb what he did. So, okay, this is what we can all agree on. It's between Charles Freeman, Lisa Van Allen. They did not mention anything about, and Keith are the main people that they said are liars, extortionists, thieves. Those are the people that will be testifying against R. Kelly. Yul Brown, aka whoever. They didn't mention that name. Yul Brown is, I don't know.
I don't have my tablet. I'll find it, and next time you go live, we'll clarify.
Yeah, I'll make sure that'll be the first thing that I talk about. Let me make a note of that. Because I got a headache, y'all. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Keith R. Kelly. Keith is Kel's best friend. It's not the same Keith.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that Keith. This one was Keith Morrell. So, Yul Brown. Keith. Charles. What was the other one? Somebody said Damien, right? That's the baby father. Alrighty, y'all. I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna go to bed now to see if I can at least find something halfway decent if I to go in there tomorrow, and then just worry with the rest next week. But I'm telling, I don't think there's gonna be no, like, I know everybody want to hear from Drea and Minor One and stuff. I don't think that they're gonna testify tomorrow. So, but I will try my best to be there. But I have to go to bed. It's 11.
Okay.
LV.
Dottie.
See, Yul Brown is the one she was pregnant by. Okay, I'm gonna figure it out. I don't know, but I remember them names. I just don't know who was who.
I have the notes. I'll get it together and
We'll figure it out tomorrow. Me and Tanya figure it out. We got y'all. I promise, we got y'all. Thank you. You guys are all so welcome. Everybody have a good night. Keep stay prayed up. Keep Robert in your prayers. Let's keep praying. And yeah. Let's see
thank you again, Dottie.
All right, you welcome. Tanya.
Hmm?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So hopefully you get to stay.
Somebody else got to come on with us next time. I hate being on these things talking to myself, y'all. Can anyone come into the courtroom? Anyone can come into the courtroom. It's a public. Yep, it's public. So anyone, if you like me, you don't mind. I just want to be there just to hear what's going on and take these notes. So if you don't mind being in the overflow room, then you can get there when court starts. If you want to be in the actual courtroom where Robert is, you have to get there a little bit early because there's going to be a line. So keep that in mind if you guys do decide to come.
Yeah.
I know, right? Long time. I know. I was told that I had to do this today. So,
Great shorthand.
all right, y'all. Y'all take care. Have a good night. Tanya, thank you.
You're welcome. I'll talk to you in a little bit.
So we'll deliver that information when we come back for the next live, you guys. I'll keep you guys updated. Just check my community, the wall or whatever, to let you know if I'm gonna be when I'm gonna be in court next. Dottie, why they not showing it on Tori?
I think it's federal, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think they are able to.
Everyday Gemini. Can you post that again for?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Kim Brown, I will inbox you for next week. Okay, Kim. Yeah, federal cases, they're not televised. State is. Daddy, why they not? Oh, I thought Tori. I'm sorry. I thought you meant why they not talking about it on TV. Yeah, but federal cases, they're not televised. I'm gonna give it a minute so that she can put that in the chat for you guys. I like being there to take notes as well. Yeah. 10 a.m. Okay, Kim, you gonna inbox me on here or let me see. Let me put post comment. If y'all want to send me, hold on, wait. Oh shoot.
No, Kim is saying she lives in Chicago.
Oh, okay. Where you at? Oh, okay. Send it to my yeah, inbox me or email it to me. I'm on the north side. I'm up north. So if you close, yep, definitely let's hang out. Oh, you're mine. If you going, especially if you going to court, you can go together.
You're welcome, Nova.
Okay, put that in there. Let me see. Maybe I could pin it. Oh, hold on. Tanya, before you hang up, I have to. Damn. I can go back. I'll go back and do it, Tanya. Go back and watch the video.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, everybody. This I didn't say good night about 20 times. I'm sorry. But you guys have a good night. Yeah, just keep them prayers going for him. And just, the end of the day, to me, it's looking good already. First day. It's looking good. All right.
All right. Good night,
You guys,
everybody.
thank you everybody for the whoever gave the cash apps. I really appreciate you guys. But I'll be updating the community wall soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hold on. Last one. Oh, Addison. Okay, I gotta come past there. Yeah, West Side. I live by Crane. Good night and thank you. Okay. Good night, you guys. Talk
Bye.
to you. Tanya, I'll text you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.